welcome to this episode of the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Laura Mignot. This is actually part of my 29 Days of Magic series where I get to interview amazing Black women for 29 straight days. And today I am super excited to have a chat with Naa Adoley Pappoe, who is a stress management and emotional wellness specialist who focuses on infertility counseling and maternal mental health. Yes, it's a mouthful because she's a badass. And so you'll hear all her great stories about how she's been able to do all this fantastic work. So, hey, Naa, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much, Miss Laura, for having me.
My absolute pleasure. You have a lot of amazing work, and I just want to have you tell everybody fantastic things and awesomely. So, first question. Naa, what was your all-time favorite job?
I would say that my all-time favorite job is exactly what I do now. It's the work that I do with the women I support in my practice. I just to give a really quick synopsis, my practice was built based off of my own lived experience. So to be able to position myself in such a way that I am able to provide for other women who are dealing with infertility, pregnancy, postpartum, and just women's issues at large, position myself to be able to offer them support that I desperately was looking for when I was on my journey. That brings my heart joy. And I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm every session I walk away from is an affirmation that I am doing the work that I've been called to do. My heart's child right now also is the work that I do with the Single Moms Club. I'm the founder and the head of community care, and that I don't even know that can be described as joy. It's something that I pour myself into. It doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm writing. I never complain. My body doesn't complain. My mind doesn't complain. My heart doesn't complain when I'm doing this work. So I would say, yeah, that's something else that brings me joy, supporting the women in the club.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're a saint, is what you're trying to tell me.
Not at all.
Yeah, you kind of are. Um, just again, Black women being way too humble. It's like, you're a saint. All right, so I love how like your favorite job is actually your current job. So, talk to me about how we got to be having this conversation. What's that journey been like? You mentioned a little bit when you started, but like I'd love to hear the Naa story.
Um, Very simple. I myself have walked the infertility journey. I like to call it fertility journey, but just for all intents and purposes, the infertility journey. And I struggled, right, with a lot of the emotional aspects, the physical aspects of that journey as well. I came into it rather abruptly. I was having some problems. I had a surgery. Turns out that I have endometriosis, and I have endometriosis stage 4. So sort of kind of like the way people think about cancer, and I'm not likening it at all, but just the stages of cancer. Endometriosis stage 4 is exactly that. It's stage 4. It means that like the endometrial cells were in places outside of like my uterus, and it was moving further up, and greatly was greatly impacting my fertility, and I didn't even know it. It was a pain that led to this exploratory surgery, and I was here with a diagnosis and being told, if you want to have a kid, if children were ever part of your dream, you need to do it now because that window is slowly closing. And I think I was like 32 or 33, and having to grapple with my reality, right, post surgery, and having to grapple with the fact that I literally went from 6 weeks post op into a visit with a reproductive endocrinologist, and we're working through all of that, trying to get a baby earth side. I was going through motions, and my training let me know enough that I needed a process. I wasn't processing anything. I was hearing everything they were telling me. I was doing what they were asking because I did want this child, right? Earthside. but I wasn't processing anything on a very molecular level. So I started to look out for therapists. I went on this journey to see if I could find someone who could. I knew I needed to submit myself to therapy. I'm a therapist, so I know what needed to be done. But I'm also an African woman, right? Before I'm a therapist, I'm an African woman first. And there were aspects of this whole journey that were pulling at my heart, pulling at my identity. The one thing that I had been told my entire life that I had been put on this earth to do, the doctors were telling me that I could not do, and that I could not do without their help. So there was a lot that was going on in my head. I wasn't talking to anyone because I had a task and I didn't want to be swayed, not even by like 1 degree. Like I was gonna get this done. I
As
wasn't
black
dealing with
women
the
do.
emotions.
Yeah, we're just gonna
Yeah,
look it up. I'm on fire. It doesn't make it. I'm gonna keep on
yeah,
moving, and it's like,
exactly.
yeah, no, we can't stop doing
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. And I tried to pause myself, but I wasn't able to find anyone that looked like me. The cultural aspect for me is nuanced, right? And they're women doing the work. It's not that it was just a bunch of men, they're women, but they did not look like me. And it was important for me that they had some. Listen, you just needed to understand where I was coming from. I'm not even going to address that. Like when I say certain things, I don't need you looking at me funny. I need you understanding that this is a part of my cultural identity. This is the way we think. This is the way, right or wrong, this is just my cultural background, right? And you needed, it was the part that was struggling, and I needed it factored into my care, and I couldn't find anyone to do that for me. So fast forward, baby's earthside now, and I'm thinking of putting a practice together, and I submit myself to business coaching. And she's like, do you realize how much you light up when you speak about your journey? And I'm coaching, I'm in business coaching to start a private practice dealing with children, right? Because this is what I do in my 9 to 5. And she's like, that doesn't bring you, here goes your word, joy. I don't see it. But when we speak, like when we segue and we talk about this experience, you light up. And she literally said, I think this is what you need to be doing. And I was reluctant, and like the way we do, I'm like, I'm not trained. So I put myself through a postgraduate certification course. And then after that, I opened my doors, and this is what I do. It's not all that I do, but it's one of those places where at the end of the day, just sitting down and helping us, right? Because my practice is centered around the Black and brown woman's experience. It's There's a calmness that I walk away. It doesn't matter how hectic my day, it doesn't matter how hectic the session. I know I'm in the right place. I know I'm doing what it is that I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow. And thank you for what you do, because
Thank you.
as someone who's like gone on this wild and wacky world of like getting your ex frozen when you're over 40, oh god, it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, I mean, like, I never get too personal on the podcast, but I guess I'm going to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
It is hell on earth,
I know.
and you need a therapist, because when they tell you, hey, so you're over 40, you want to hurt your ex, great, and also now decide you should probably get embryos done. I'm single. What?
Yeah.
Um, and like I didn't. It was funny because like well, not really funny, but it was like I just didn't have the emotional headspace to wrap my arms around. From like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
science will help me have a kid, but also I have to now go through a book and try and pick a dude I've never met,
And
and
procedures
need
and
and
shots and
like I hate needles, and like I just like now I don't, but like again, like my mom's a nurse, and so like, and I and you know, Caribbean, African, same thing, and so like I did not like I got the medical gene in my life, so like needles, blood are nightmare fuel for me, and you want me to do this how many times a day?
mm-hmm.
But also like same family. Like I told my mom I was doing this the day before I did.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and by the way, just
You're better than me because I didn't say anything till I was 2 months pregnant. I
oh my
kept it all in.
whenever that happens, I'm probably gonna do the same thing. Um, not even a friend. Um, But I think I'd love for you to talk more about this because, having gone through the same experience and having some
Mhm,
friends around our similar age who,
mhm,
again, were over 40 and was like, oh crap, um, I should probably do this now. And then all the stuff you hear and all the voices in your head. And, like, how can you give some advice? like,
I mean, I could give some suggestions. I could
so,
talk through it.
broad,
I will
broad strokes, broad
broad
strokes.
strokes. Here we go. Like I always start here, right? I say first of all, let's all just take. This is one of the things that I had to bring myself to. I had to take that pressure off myself, right? We just happen to be this generation, and it's not a good or a bad thing. It just is luck of the draw, right? Our generation is the generation of this mass um global movement to educate the girl child, right? Like we are that. Our mothers, yes, but think about it. Our mothers' generations have most of our mothers are learned, right? Most of them have some even have like graduate degrees and postgraduate degrees, but we're looking at, like you said, helping professions. Like even if they were in business, they were running like grocery store, like it was in that space. You have their teachers, so they were in those roles. Our generation is where like we see this expanse where we have women CEOs, we have women dominating spaces that were predominantly male. And I know we still have a ways to go, right? We still fight this, but we're that generation of this massive move to educate your girl child. And we came along, like we all stepped up to the plate. Every single last one of us, well, most of us stepped up to that challenge, and most of us are walking around and we are going to school, we're doing the thing. And what that inadvertently did was put certain things on the back burner. It's just byproduct, right? A majority of us were taking steps, like actually actively taking steps, not to get in the family way, because we had these goals, because we've been hearing these stories for a very long time that we were going to be we were going to be the one, we were going to be the ones that were going to make it. We were the ones that, if we weren't breaking through that ceiling, we were coming darn close to at least touch it, right? We're the ones, and we carry this. And what it essentially did was it shifted our focus. Again, it's not a bad thing. So if you turn around and you look, you see a majority of us are coming into motherhood, or even let me back up away from motherhood. We're coming into family planning a lot later in life, right? We're no longer conceiving, we're no longer family planning, we're no longer becoming mothers when we're in our like early 20s, which is what it is, which is what it was before. You have more and more women having to put it off because of the career, having to put it off because of school, having to put it off because it just doesn't fit in seamlessly all the time with this CEO status that you have, right? There's more of us starting businesses. There's more of us in the C-suite. There's more of us today than there was yesterday. Um, and just society wasn't ready for that shift. So, or I don't even know if society noticed that things were shifting. So certain conversations that should have happened just didn't. There's so many of us in this space. Meanwhile, for anyone that's on this journey, it is the most isolating journey you will ever undertake. You are not the only one. If you were to count 8 women, like you walked out your street and you counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, one of those 8, and I tell everybody I'm that one, don't even look any further, look at me. One of those 8 is struggling with some issue or the other that's fertility related, right? Had we started earlier, maybe, who knows, right? Maybe if I had tried to conceive in my 20s, um I would probably always have endometriosis, but it wouldn't be stage 4. You might come into awareness of like a PCOS condition a lot sooner. But there's a lot that we're not discussing. There's a lot that we're not talking about even in our friendship circles. So the very important thing if I don't say anything at all, and if no one walks away with anything, take this. If this happens to be your journey, you are not alone. And I'm not saying it just to say you truly aren't alone. There is support, right? There are people like me that are springing up all over the place because this is finally being pushed into the forefront like it should. Reach out. You don't need to talk to your sister who had that baby when she was a lot younger. You don't need to talk to your girlfriend who, started a lot sooner. No, you don't need to, because the stories just won't match. The journeys are intricately different. Seek the support, because there's circles. Reach out. You're not the only one that's dealing with these things. You're not the only one that's feeling the isolation. You're not the only one that's planning. You're not the only one that's having to make certain decisions like you're saying that you have to make, right? You're coming into family planning in this way that's not traditional. Non traditional also does not render it unimportant. It doesn't render it less satisfying. It doesn't render it less than someone who comes into this space traditionally, quote unquote. And you're still whole. You are as whole as you have ever been. That was what I struggled with. So I just want to put that out there, right? Because again, even though I have a child earthside, I still struggle with, because I know if I have to do this again, I'm going to need medical help. But it doesn't mean that I am not whole, right? It doesn't mean that my fertility doesn't show up in other spaces. So there are some people who come and then at the end of this, they cannot physically have a child. We need to start to redefine the way we're thinking when we think about fertility. It's not just in a woman's ability to have children. You show, just your fertility shows through in the way you mother or godmother, or how you auntie, right? Holding spaces, Laura, like the one that you're holding, where you have a group of women together and you're supporting them. It comes out in art, it comes out in music, it comes out in performance. So again, there's that shift needs to happen. And I'm saying this really quickly, right? Just so that I can get it all in there. But love on yourself, and know that this doesn't make you less than. Your journey is not insignificant, and you're not alone.
You're talking directly to me. I know, but one, thank you for that. Two, I think it's so important that you say this because, I think you're right. It's an isolating journey. And folks don't realize that there are resources that are out there. Like I am a very good therapist, thank the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of folks don't realize that there are folks who specializes that are like you
Mm-hmm.
now. So, really important question: does insurance cover what you do?
Yeah, it does. It you can go, it's therapy, so you can get covered the exact same way. I will say, I don't know if I need to be talking about my practice. There's some of us who let Alexa do her thing. Okay, she's done. There are some of us who, sorry, she pops in every single time, to remind me to move, or else I just sit. But there are, yeah, insurances cover it. Much like insurance covers quite a number of things, and if your insurance won't, there are ways that it can be written so that insurance either covers it upfront, or you can get the that's what a number of my clients have to do, because I don't go the insurance route. I could not be bothered with those panels, but the like out of network benefits apply.
Mhm. Good. I mean, and I mean, that's one of the big reasons I wanted you to be on the show because I want folks to understand that, like, yes, this is a very traumatic and isolating journey, and yeah, it is drama. Like, no matter where you are in this universe, no matter what you have in this universe, going through whatever this process may be, good, bad, and different, or just even to explore it alone, I think. Because again, folks don't realize that what you can start that conversation in your 20s, in your 30s, and then yes, also in your 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And but there are lots of resources available out there to you to help you understand what's available to you, and also not live in this constant state of like, this is all my fault. I should have done this sooner. Oh my
No,
God, what have I done?
no.
So letting people know it's going to be okay, right?
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. There's so many avenues. Medicine has come such a long way. So I know that there's that fear, and that's some of the stuff that gets worked through. Also, if you align yourself perfectly, or not perfectly, if you align yourself well enough and you buffer yourself well enough with someone you can speak to, there are a number of different things that you can actually attempt. Right there, medicine has done some very phenomenal things in this space. It's just that we don't talk about it often enough.
Yeah, and it's not limited to America.
No, it's
Like
not. It is not.
it's cheaper in different countries, and you have
Mm-hmm,
great results.
mm-hmm,
I have friends who've gone to Spain. I have friends who've gone
mm-hmm,
to Thailand, to Mexico. There are many ways to build a family, and actually, what building a family looks like, as you said, is wildly different. Communities that you build and you nurture, you're the mother of that community. So like I
mm-hmm.
think, I think it's obviously a very cultural thing where, like, yeah, especially Caribbeans, Africans, it's like you're supposed to be a mom, and what does that look like, and how can we change that? And I think what you're doing is so important to help folks understand that there's many ways that looks like,
Many ways.
and also it comes from a place of gratitude around that,
Mm-hmm.
and accepting where that might take you. So looking back on all you've been able to do, what do you think is one thing you tell 18-year-old now?
Girl's gonna be okay. It is gonna be all right. Have the fun. I grew up before I grew up. I'm the first of three girls. So I carry that first daughter syndrome, right? And we grew up with my dad. So my mother was in America. My father had this bright idea of not raising any of the. They met here. People find it amazing when I say they didn't know each other back home. They met here. They got married here. They had us. My father was adamant about not raising any of his children here. So my mother would have us. She would keep us for as long as she could keep us, and then we got sent home. So I'm the one that did the grandmother, the aunties, and then eventually my father relocated. So first daughter, and my father was the one that run the home, so I'm like first daughter syndrome personified. Um, but I would tell 18-year-old me who's fighting, um, it's going to work out. You're going to get exactly where you need to get. You just really need to trust the process.
Yes, always. Just trust the process. It seems icky, but don't
Trust
worry.
it.
Just trust it.
Surrender and trust it.
And I think the surrendering around that kind of comes with a bit of gratitude about where you are in that moment. So, what's one thing you're really grateful for right now?
So my automatic response to that is life. And I was trying to dig, but nothing's coming. So I guess life is what I'm gonna say. I'm truly grateful that I get to live now. I'm truly grateful in the now, in this space that affords me the ability to do so many different things. It affords me the opportunity to experience so many different things. Um, I'm grateful for life to be able to experience growing up with my daughter, right? Well, we're both growing. Um, I'm grateful for every experience that I have had because every single last one of them has led me to here. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm grateful to be of support. I'm grateful to be used in the way I'm being used today. So I'm grateful for the here, for the now, for life, for living. I'm grateful for being a support, for being supported. I'm grateful for being a part of a community. I'm grateful for being. You said one thing, didn't you?
Yeah, but you know what? Go ahead.
I'm grateful for being part of a community. I'm grateful for being the community, someone's community and someone's support. Life in general right now is what I'm truly grateful for.
Awesome. I love that. And so now I have my last question for you, which is, do you have a give or an ask of the audience? And that can be anything from read my book or take this class to it would be really impactful if you all did this thing. It's whatever you want. And it doesn't have to be both. You can pick one.
Um, I'm going to impart, right? So I'm gonna ask. I don't know. You said you were gonna do it later, so I will say this is my ask: is for anyone that is or who could use the support that I offer, please seek me out. I do believe that Laura's going to include in her show notes and everywhere she possibly can the ways that you can reach me. I do have this wonderful group of single moms that I founded, and I am the head of community care for. We're all up and down the East Coast, and it's emotional support for single moms. It's highly centered on the Black and Brown single moms experience, but it's not exclusive. So absolutely, if you can look that, if that's something that you need, if that's a support group that you feel could help, absolutely reach out. And then I'm also going to give back, right? And say for anyone that's listening, if you could do yourself and me a favor, just take 5 minutes. If we have 5 minutes just to ground with me, and Laura, you could do it as well. So this is my give. It's also an ask. Just close your eyes, sit down, plant your feet, feel your feet, and just let tension melt away as you take a very deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. We're gonna do it 2 more times. A breath in through the nose and breathe in everything that's good. Breathe in positivity. Breathe in relaxation. Breathe in rest. And then exhale. And as you exhale, just try to push out all of the tension, all of the pressure, any negativity, any ill voices in your head. Just exhale that. We're going to take in another deep breath. And as you inhale, I want you to believe, if you can say it in your head, you are enough. Say, I am enough. Or think it, I am enough. I have everything I need around me right now that makes me enough. I am worthy. I am supported. Exhale. I am worthy. I am enough. I am more than good enough. I deserve to occupy the spaces I'm occupying. I deserve to be in the rooms that I have been invited to. And I deserve to push it into some of these rooms that I am not being invited to because I am worthy. Just let that soak over you. Feel it in every fiber of your being. Embody it because we are all worthy. And when you're ready to go kick this day and it's you know what, go ahead and open your eyes.
Now, see, this wasn't part of the plan. Like this, like, get me to calm down because I actually was on 11 today. So like, this
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
well, damn, nah. Thank you. That was actually
You're
necessary. Like,
welcome.
I'm so not even kidding. It actually was.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's absolutely necessary. And I hope everyone who is listening today actually does this because it did just help. Because yeah,
Just
I was
close
on
your eyes
11.
and let the chips fall where they may. Reinvigorate yourself and pick them right back up. You are a
And
boss and you got this.
of course, we all are. Of course. Now you're a delight, and you are doing savior work. Because it's true. I mean, and I'm not even being facetious. I think
Thank you.
the work you have to do and the space you have to hold for the people who come your way and seek you out for help, and so you're saving folks, and so it's so impactful the work that you do, and I want more folks to know that you do this. So I'm gonna put all the details in the show notes where folks can find you, connect with you, utilize your services, and get some healing, because I think um, it's such a wild journey that many women go on, and what the end of that looks like can be any number of things.
Anything. Hmm.
And so having support like what you're able to offer, and along with the cultural competency,
Hmm.
is necessary, it's again why I love doing 29 Days of Magic, because I get to come across amazing women like you who, like, not everybody knows, but everyone should know, because the work you do is so impactful. So thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being part
No, thank you.
of the podcast, and you're an absolute delight. And like I said, folks will hear all about where they can find you. So thanks again for being part of the show.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for
Uh,
having me.
Awesome. And that is our show.
That's a wrap.